All right, we're looking at the local property market now as we enter week 3 of the conflict. Very pleased to be joined this morning by Abdullah Alajaji, who is the founder and the CEO of Driven Properties. Abdullah, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Brandy, and thank you for having me.
How have the last 2 weeks been for you at Driven Properties? What have you seen on the ground?
Well, the market still remains active. Some people are naturally moving a lot more cautiously at the moment. The impact now is more around sentiment, timing, the pace of decision making. We don't see a shift in the fundamentals of the market just yet. In fact, we see the data from the Dubai Land Department for the last week transactions, and what stands out is the fact that the total transactions came in at 12.25 billion dirhams for the week, which is not far from what we've seen pre-conflict. And what really stands out there is secondary transactions where people actually exchange on the day came in at 7.1 billion dirham, which is in line with pre-conflict levels.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same set of numbers, and obviously a lot of people will say yes, but those deals were already signed, they were already in the works. But if I compare last week, we'll call it week 2, with week 1, March 2nd to the 6th, we've got quite the uptick. Now that's going to be coming from a lower base, obviously, but transaction value up more than 44%, transaction count up 36%. How do you interpret that? What do you take from that?
Well, yes, you're right in that a lot of these transactions have been agreed prior to that. However, what's telling is, especially on the secondary market front, on ready properties, these are transactions that, on the day, if you're feeling the sentiment shift, you can try to extend it, you can try to push your transaction forward. But what actually happened is, people actually moving in and transacting on the day. So that's something telling about the confidence in the market. We have also seen the number and the volume of transactions moving upwards week on week. We had data from Beirut showcasing that, in the first week of the conflict, the buyer registrations on the site came down by a magnitude of about 50%. Now it's closer to, or as of late last week, it's close to 80% of its baseline. So we're seeing activity and market participants register and look at the market again.
Well, we've got the transactions then happening and activity. What about price, though, Abdullah? What are you seeing, and what kind of conversations are you having with both buyers and sellers at Driven?
So in an illiquid asset class, it's very difficult to get into we're at price discovery at the moment. So it's very difficult to see prices shift overnight or over a week or two, right? You will see in the beginning the bid ask spread widening. That's something that is going to probably unfold over a shorter period of time. At the moment, we have not seen asking prices change from a seller's perspective. We're seeing buyers becoming a lot more cautious, a lot more disciplined, and that's what we also advise. In an environment like this, it's only natural for buyers and sellers to remain cautious and to follow the trend, follow the market, see what's actually happening on the ground. Of course, in environments like this, buyers and participants tend to be more selective in a market that has effectively a lot of product, whether you're looking at the primary or the secondary market.
When you're talking to buyers, are you talking to local buyers, or are you still talking to international investors?
So, well, this is the interesting thing about Dubai. The local buyers, people who have participated in this market, have seen this movie before. It's unfolded, in many different situations. COVID, the Arab Spring, and other situation. So locals who know the market are still very much active, looking for deals, looking for opportunities. When I say locals, I'm talking about locals and residents. Of course, international investors will move with caution. We can't expect the sentiment to remain the same. However, the way this has been dealt with and the government responsiveness, the agility that we've seen, year over year and decade over decade from Dubai tells us that there are Dubai and the UAE has many tools and their arsenal to really put together in terms of reforms and regulatory reforms moving forward. So that could spur the market and encourage a transactions recovery over time. Whether that recovery becomes V-shaped or over a longer period of time, that's again yet to be seen as we get to the price discovery.
You mentioned the ready market there a couple of times. Are you seeing a difference in appetite, in price, we're saying bargains. No one's, because we're, I think, moving away from the word distressed quite carefully here. Are you seeing a difference between ready property that people could move into tomorrow morning, pre-built, and the off-plan market?
Yeah, everybody likes a bargain, right? So, but the reality on the ground is, if someone wants to transact on the demand side, they're willing to move into a new home, they'll likely prefer to work on a ready property. We do see, and we think this may be a trend, that ready properties will probably be more in demand post-conflict than primary. The encouraging thing as well is mortgages are active. So people who have had their mortgage agreed, they're moving in onto their purchase. Banks are very much active in lending. So that these are very encouraging signs for the ready market. Now, have we seen people take off a 5% from a verbally agreed negotiation? Yes, we have. We've seen single digit buffers and negotiations from previously agreed deals, and that's normal. That's to be expected. But we haven't seen signs of real bargains and the way people would expect.
Abdullah Alajaji telling us what he's seeing on the ground in the property market here as we move into week 3 of the conflict. He is the boss. He's the founder and the CEO of Driven Properties. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.